So I'll start with this study of being done by Harvard Business School and Microsoft. Basically, they look at around 150 companies. These are like public listed companies in US. And then the companies are with around 1 billion in value, right? Yeah. So basically, from the study, this is how the underperformers look like. So what is the issue that you see here for the underperformers? What is the issue? Anyone? Yeah, silos, very good. Okay, silo, everything in silo architecture, no architecture being done when they do their digital transformation or when they implement their AI technology. So it's basically silo architecture for the underperformers. So this is what happens if your organization don't do any architecture. You get if I ask you, do you know your company core, the strategic initiatives that are important for the next few years? And then knowing the strategic initiatives, what are the core processes that you must do well in your organization to support your strategies? Do you know? Yes or no? If you don't know, right, then your business architecture, as we call it, right, will be something like this figure down here. What is this figure? It's like a cloud, right? Everything moves to the cloud. But what's in the cloud, we don't know. Right? Just move to the cloud. And then your organization will also be like all this vertical, all the silos, right? There's no single source of truth for your customer information. Data is duplicated across all the lines of business divisions. And even your applications likely to have duplicate applications if you don't do any architecture. And then technology, all the way down to technology, also very diverse. There's like no standardization of technologies. So it's a nightmare to be in this kind of organizations to maintain all the siloed architectures. So even if you don't do any architecture for your organization has an inherent architecture. And what is the inherent architecture? What do we call it? Spaghetti architecture. So for the leaders from the study, so what are they doing right here? What are they doing right here? So it's not just about your architecture, right? They also organize their org structure, all the way to their org structure, their processes. So they are basically architected for success. They are basically architected for success, as you see here. So no other people to invite than the CEO of the what? Most valuable company in the world. I'm not sure whether I can show you this video from YouTube.
So you have to go back to first principles. Just ask yourself, what kind of machinery? What is the input? What is the output? What are the properties of this environment? You know, what is the forest that this animal has to live in? What are its characteristics? Is it stable most of the time? You're trying to squeeze out the last drop of water? Or is it changing all the time, being attacked by everybody? And so you got to understand, you know, you're the CEO, your job is to architect this company. That's my first job, to create the conditions by which you can do your life's work. And the architecture has to be right. And so you have to go back to first principles and think about those things. And I was fortunate that when I was 29 years old, you know, I had the benefit of taking a step back and asking myself, you know, how would I build this company for the future and what would it look like? And, you know, what's the operating system, which is called culture? What kind of behavior do we encourage, enhance, and what do we discourage? So you had to go back to first principles. Just ask yourself, what kind of machinery? What is the...
Okay, that's a hearing from the CEO of the currently the most valuable company in the world, right? You have to architect your company for success. So from the same study, basically they noticed that for the leaders, the architecture is very important. Is your company architected for success to leverage on all the data and also the AI technologies that you're putting in place? And then are you able to integrate all the AI technologies into your processes so that you are able to compete, right? And then innovative. I think there's an MIT study recently where the findings is that 5% of generative AI projects are successful. The other 95% all die in pilot because of one of the reasons is that they are not able to integrate the AI technologies into their existing processes and workflow, right? So this is stages of digital maturity. You'll see at the left, these are like the silos. And then as we progress all the way from bridge, hub, platform to native, your data, you become more data-driven. You become more mature in your use of data for decision-making, and your AI also become more advanced, right? So from the left, silos to native. So just do a quick poll. The audience, is your organization still very traditional, silo? Have you progressed to bridge, hub, platform, native? Native is the most matured. So you can join the poll, go to slido.com, and then you can key in this event code 2938413. Where is your organization maturity currently in terms of your use of data and your AI? Are you like the native, the leaders here? The Amazon, the Googles, right? Netflixes. Are you able to access? Silo.com. Oh, okay. The results should be in already. Let me just go to the slide, yeah. So you can see, wow, lots of traditional. So you can see the ranking. Traditional, most of you are still very silo kind of architecture. And then I think native, 14%, right? So you can see within the audience, the poll, yeah. But there are like 12% native. That means the most matured towards the right, yeah. Coming down from traditional is like the hub, yeah, followed by bridge. So this illustrates the importance of architecture. Even when you are leveraging AI, right, within your enterprise, you still need to architect your organization for success. So we are moving to the next section where I just explain the role of EA, the important role of EA in enabling your organization, the success of your organization AI initiatives. How many of you know what is enterprise architecture? Okay, how many? So I think quite majority. Can I see the hands again? Who know what is EA? Yeah. Maybe I ask this gentleman here. Yeah. So what do you understand to be enterprise architecture? A map of the IT capabilities and the landscape that the IT has. Yeah. Anyone else to add on your understanding of what is enterprise architecture? Just now I see a few hands. But when I ask you to, to explain what is EA, now I don't see the hands, yeah? So who don't understand what is enterprise architecture, new to EA? Also very few. Then the rest? Okay, there are many definitions of EA. So for today, I will just use the Gartner definition. Basically, you see this Gartner definition, the process of EA is not just IT architecture. You see from this Gartner definition, there's no IT inside. Basically, Gartner says that EA is a process to translate your business vision and strategy into effective enterprise change. And of course, when you do enterprise architecture, you need to define the target architecture. What is our vision? What is our target architecture? And then, of course, you also need to understand the current architecture. And then, within target and current architecture, there is bound to be what? Gaps. And then what is your plan to transition from your current to your target architecture? So that, in a nutshell, is the whole idea of enterprise architecture. Very wordy, all this definition. I give you a picture. A picture paints 1,000 words. So you can see from this picture how EA is under planning. Enterprise architecture is like the simple way to think of it, city plan of your whole enterprise, city plan of your organization. And enterprise architecture, this part down here, links all the way from your business strategy, can also be your IT strategy, digital strategy, all the way down to all the business initiatives, all the projects, all the products that you are building, right? So this is like the center part, the glue, right? All the way from your strategies down to the initiatives that you are implementing. A lot of organizations, they don't do architecture, they don't do EA. This part is missing. So EA, simple way to think, is like the city plan of your whole enterprise. The buildings within your organization, all the application systems, these are like the buildings. So without the city plan, you are going to build silo architecture. So a picture paints 1,000 words. Hopefully with that, you have a better understanding. You can just imagine if your agency or your organization don't have the city plan, what happens? Any questions so far? All good. So organizations, they are architected for success. They have done EA. Their operational backbone will be more standardized. They have looked across the organization. What are some of the business capabilities, business function, processes that can be shared enterprise-wide? What are some of the common data, shared data? Basically, they have actually cleaned up their data, shared data, common definitions for the data. When they have done enterprise architecture, there are also like shared applications to reduce the duplicate applications, and also standardized technology stack, tech stack. And of course, all this must be secure. All this must be secure. So if they have done architecture EA, when they go to do digital transformation, the backend is more ready for digital transformation. That's why when DBS, the former CEO Piyush Gupta, joined DBS, I think maybe around 2013 or 14, what is the first thing that the former CEO did? Anyone knows? Basically, he worked with the CIO, and the first thing that they did was to clean up the backend, clean up the DBS backend, so that they are ready for DT. digital transformation. And it took them many years, I think 8 to 9 years. And now they are still cleaning up. Right? Yeah, there's no end to architecture. Yeah. So this diagram that you see down here is basically from the open group. It's called TOGAF. TOGAF stands for the Open Group Architecture Framework. So the next few slides, I will just step you through how you can actually customize, adapt TOGAF to support your organization AI initiatives. So this TOGAF, this is like an architecture development method. It's a very structured methodology that you use to support EA projects. That's why you see down here, the caveat down here is TOGAF is not AI specific. If you use TOGAF for AI, then you need to supplement TOGAF with some of the other AI frameworks and methodology. Like for data mining, I think they have one methodology called CRIPS DM. If you look at CRIPS DM, very small because my slide's very crowded. So you see down here, actually they start off with business understanding first, even when they want to do data mining. Then they look at data preparation before they go into modeling. Okay, so that's the CRIPS DM. So I'll just step you through an example. You can use TOGAF, this ADM, at different levels. You can use it for strategic architecture development. Let's say you're developing your enterprise strategic AI architecture. You can also use this ADM down to the supporting your projects, project level. So different levels, strategic architecture level, portfolio architecture level, down to the detailed architecture capability. So different levels. It's very generic and flexible. So I'm not able to cover some of the phases, but I'll cover the majority. So for every project, we start off with the architecture vision. Every project, I'm sure you have your project vision. So no difference from TOGAF, architecture vision. So in this case down here, we're going to apply AI to supply chain resilience. So this phase A, architecture vision, basically we have to align AI with the organization business goals. How does AI align with our business goals? And then in this architecture vision phase, we need to engage who are the key stakeholders in this supply chain resilience project, and what are the requirements that we want to address. So you also need to define what is the scope of the project, and then what are some of the success KPIs, measures. And we also need to know what are the business benefits, risks, and constraints for this AI in supply chain resilience project. So that's the architecture vision phase. And usually you will try to come up with a picture of the target state. So as you develop your architecture, you actually refine this picture. So this is like our architecture vision, our target vision, target architecture. Something like a North Star, right, to guide your AI project. As you develop your architecture, you can put in more details. What are some of the business capabilities, some of the technology capabilities that you are developing for this project? And then after you have defined your architecture vision, the next step is to understand the business architecture. Business architecture. So you assess your current supply chain business architecture. Then you define your target, working together with the stakeholders, define the target architecture. Between the current and target there are bound to be some of the business gaps. Maybe some of the gaps can be currently the supply chain process is very manual and there are lots of bottleneck. Then we want to evaluate, right? Is AI able to help us in some of this manual or very bottleneck kind of process? So you have to understand your business architecture. That's the first step. So for enterprise architecture, usually we have this what we call the business capability map for the whole enterprise. Business capability, a very simple idea is that basically these are all the capabilities, what the organization is able to do. So once you have this map, you're able to assess, let's say you want to introduce AI technology, you can see which are the areas, business capabilities, they are more ready for AI. So this is just an illustration. So we are focused on supply chain in this example, right? So for example, supply chain, then we identify which are the business areas or capabilities that AI can support. Maybe we can use AI for demand forecasting. Maybe we can use AI to evaluate our suppliers and then highlight where are the risks. And then maybe we can also use AI for scenario planning and doing simulation. So let's say what happens if there's a disruption in the supply chain. So you see it's very business driven. You start from understanding your business before you design your IT. So we are moving on to the next phase. So this is also from Gartner, and it shows that basically it says that 30% of Gen AI projects will be abandoned after proof of concept due to poor data quality. And then there's like unclear business value. And then organizations that don't have an AI-ready data practice will also see 60% of AI projects fail to deliver on business value. Right, so that's from Gartner. So your data is important. And this is a cautionary tale. IBM Watson for oncology. So IBM has this Watson, and Watson is supposed to provide AI-driven cancer treatment recommendations. However, they train this Watson with synthetic data. There's no real-world patient data. Of course, without the real-world patient data, just by synthetic data, then Watson will give wrong treatment recommendations. So it became very scary. And then IBM has to end this project after spending billions of dollars on Watson. Yeah. So it's a cautionary tale. And your AI is only as good as your data. We hear this many times. Without quality data, will be garbage in, garbage out. And the foundation it stands on is what? Is what? I see a lot of people smiling. So it's what? You this gentleman? Good EA. Wow, very good. But more specific, so we are talking about phase C of the TOGAF ADM. So it's actually data architecture. Like if you have done proper data architecture, you are more ready to support AI projects because you have actually cleaned up some of your data, common data, improve the data quality. But let's say if you are siloed data architecture, then of course your data quality is not there. So data architecture, you can see this is like the Dharma, right? Dharma is the best practice for data management. You can see architecture is under plan and design. So architecture is important. But what is data architecture? Can anyone help me to define what is data architecture? Any simple few sentences to describe? Anyone do data architecture in your organization? Anyone? Really? Don't have? No one do data architecture. Who don't do data architecture? Raise your hand. Oh, so many. Quite a few. Oops. Yeah. Then how to support AI kind of initiatives if your data is not ready? From Gartner, right? You must have an AI-ready data practice, and then data quality is important for your AI. So what is data architecture? Those who do data architecture. Simple terms, yeah. Maybe you want to use the mic, yeah.
I try my best. So basically, on an enterprise level, how do you get all the data, all the scattered data in a single place through different channels? You get it, the data, and clean it up, and then make it in a usable forms across that. Maybe you have to keep it all the privatizations of the data as well, and make use of it for the benefit of the firm. And also allow it to scale as well. The architecture should allow to, the data architecture should allow to scale as the data is going to grow as well.
Very good, thanks for that. Yeah. So in the interest of time, just to add on to this gentleman's comment, this definition is very applicable at the higher level, and this definition is actually from Dharma. Basically, data architecture, a simple way to think of it is, do you know the data needs of your enterprise linked to your business architecture? What are the core data that you need to support your core processes? Do you know the data needs of your enterprise? Before you even go down and talk about all the data lakes, data lakehouse, right? All the technical solutions, ask yourself, do I really know the core data of my organization linked to my core processes? Have you designed the master blueprints to meet those needs? And then once you have designed your data blueprints, there must be value, right? You use it to guide data integration, control your data assets, govern it, and align your data investments with business strategy. So that, in a nutshell, is data architecture. So let me just check what is the next slide? Yeah, okay. This is a slide that shows how it all links up, all the way from top-down alignment, down to bottom-up implementation. So your organization may have data strategy. So your data strategy, how is all linked up, right? So as we say, we start from BA, business architecture. So when you do BA, you will have actually understood your organization business strategy. That's starting from BA, business strategy. So having inputs of your business strategy, for your data practice, let's say you have CDO, rightfully they should define the data strategy. Data strategy to enable the business strategy. And then, with the data strategy, you also need to put in place data governance. All the people, all the process, it's hard to speak and write, and the people, process, the policies, and the culture, right, to enable your data strategy. And then, in order to govern well, you also need to put in place your data architecture. Data architecture, some of the artifacts could be, for example, do I have a catalog of all my core data catalog? Do I have common definitions? When we say a customer, does everyone understand who is a customer or who is a patient in healthcare? Is it an inpatient or outpatient? So do we have like common data definitions, common vocabulary? data architecture to enable your governance. And then once you have your data architecture, you can guide the implementation. All your data warehouses, databases, right? Implementation. All your data lakes if you need to, your lake house if you need to, implementation. Now with AI, we have something new. Your organization may have what we call, what? AI strategy. Is anyone looking after the AI strategy in your organization? Is it like a chief AI officer? Or is the CIO or the IT or the EAs, right, owning the AI strategy? Now, if you have AI strategy, so how does it fit into here? Anyone, any guess? How does it fit into the equation here? Capture the data, needs of the enterprise. How does it fit in here? Just an arrow. Where to draw the arrow? Tell me. Draw it from business strategy to AI, data strategy to AI, data governance to AI. The arrow from where? Anyone? Combine business strategy and data strategy to AI strategy. Really? Interesting. Yeah. Okay, for the interest of time, then do my way lah. Just point it to AI strategy. Data strategy must support your AI strategy, and then this one must support your business strategy. Okay, I think if you combine, then maybe it works also, right? Yeah, business strategy, data strategy. Okay, so that's how it fits all together. Right, so your good data architecture practice, you actually have very more quality data to support your AI. So EA does play a role in ensuring that your AI initiatives is successful. So coming down into the application architecture, when you do application architecture, then of course you need to, because AI technology changes so fast, you need to design your applications to be able to be plug and play, modular components. You're able to evolve your application architecture, right? So these are all the good application architecture principles to keep in mind. Modular, and then evolvability. Because AI technology, every few months, there's a new technology coming out, so you need to be able to evolve your applications. Then, of course, you also will be struggling. Should I implement monolithic architecture or microservices? Right? Which architecture style should I use? Monolithic architecture or microservices? So in architecture, there's no one-size-fits-all architecture. Every architecture decision, there are bound to be pros and cons. What architects term the trade-offs. So for monolith or monolithic architecture, the pros is what? What is the pros for monolithic architecture? Haixiang? I know Haixiang because he's attending our class, yeah. Okay. So monolithic architecture, I think we still got around maybe 15 minutes, so I better give you the answer. Simplicity and ease of maintenance. Very simple to implement monolithic architecture. And then maintenance also easy because all your code base is under one monolith. How about the advantages of, but of course the cons of monolithic architecture is flexibility and scalability. You cannot scale individually, right? Your LLMs and your business logic. You have to scale the whole thing, the whole monolith. How about what is the pros of implementing microservice architecture style? You can selectively scale, like down here, right? This example down here. You can selectively scale your microservices. But of course, the cons of microservices is that it's more complex to maintain and to manage. Yeah. So these are like all the architecture choices that you have to consider under AA. And how do you, like, for example, like bring in your AI? When come to phase D, you can see from this ADM down here, it's about technical architecture considerations. Do we want to implement our AI in silos? Or do we want to use standardized technology? For example, like maybe there's like centralized data, or should it be decentralized data, or maybe a federated kind of data architecture? So there are pros and cons for each of the different data architecture, whether it's centralized data, decentralized, or federated. And then instead of silo implementation, can we identify some of the common technical capability pathways that can support a few use cases? Right, so what are the common kind of standardized technology that we can put in place that's common across the enterprise, instead of implementing like silo kind of AI implementations that support only one use cases? So that's falls under the TA, right? You have to consider all this. Like maybe you want to provide standardized APIs for all the components to communicate. Loosely coupled, yeah. So if your infrastructure can't flex, your AI can't scale. It's as simple as that. Coming down to the phase G of the TOGAF ADM, you have to do implementation governance. Do you want, for example, like this McDonald's example, using AI for voice ordering? Do you want bacon on your McDonald's ice cream? Or do you want to pay $222 for your McNugget instead of $5 to $6 because you use AI for voice taking order, right, in McDonald's drive-thrus? The AI will just keep on adding until your McNuggets bill become $222. It's like the danger of implementing AI without guardrails, right? It's basically a receipt for disaster. So in implementation governance, basically you have to have a cross-functional governance team. Not just your EA, your IT, your business, but maybe you also need to include all the legal, and also, let's say, legal for advice. Let's say you need to get some advice, right? And even the security folks, right? Yeah. Because you have to manage some of your AI security risks. So it's like a cross-functional kind of governance. And then you manage your risks, like your AI biases. And maybe after, when you first implement AI, your model is performing, giving all the correct recommendations, but after some time, there's like model drift, yeah. So governance is important. So we actually on the last part already, right? So with all this AI, proliferation of AI initiatives, how should we evolve the EA team? Yeah, okay, 10 more minutes. We need to maybe add on AI architect roles to the EA team. That's one way. And, or maybe from your existing team, you can also like upskill your EA people to be able to support AI implementations. So good enterprise architect or AI architect is not someone who just know who is an expert in AI. A good AI architect is like this T-shaped person. You are an expert in AI, but you are also expert in business domain knowledge. Let's say if you are in healthcare for many years, you have the expert domain knowledge in healthcare, business domain knowledge. So being an expert in AI, you're able to see where AI can help your business. So a good architect, or for that matter, an AI architect, is like a T-shaped person. You're an expert, the expert in AI, but you also know business very well, business domain knowledge. And you're also having knowledge in data analytics. You can, like, for example, be the bridge between the data scientists, data engineers, the AI engineers who are doing the implementation to the business, right? So you're like this T-shaped person, the bridge, like a facilitator, lah. Yeah. And you're able to, for example, validate the technical solutions. Your technical folks cannot smoke you because you have very broad, that means you have the breadth of AI knowledge. Sorry, you have very, the breadth of the technical knowledge, even security. You may not be an expert in security, but you do have security knowledge so that your security experts cannot smoke you. You're able to validate their proposed solution. So you're like a T-shaped person. However, if you're an AI architect, but then you don't know business well, so you're like crippled, only the L without the business. So that's like the AI architect role. Sorry? Business analyst. Business analyst is usually down here only. The technical, they are like without this part here. This is like, you know business well. You have very good technical knowledge. And then you're deep in AI for AI architects. Business analysts is only know business well. Maybe they are only like one line only. They may not be deep in AI. Of course, they don't know all these like data analytics, security, and then, yeah. So that's the AI architect, T-shaped person, a good architect. Of course, there are architects out there who are also not so good, right? Because they only know the technology, they only know AI expert, but then business is like, they don't know. Then it's crippled, yeah. So you can see basically the next few slides are just the architect roles and responsibilities. I think I'm seeing the emergence of job advertisements for this AI architect role. You can just do a Google search, AI architect jobs in Singapore. And then you can see some companies are looking for AI architect. So for EA team, definitely we have to incorporate AI, people who are experts in AI, AI's knowledge and skill sets, into our EA team to supplement. What is a good EA team to have? What's the composition? I haven't finished my pyramid yet, After bringing through, we still got 5 minutes, right? So, okay, business architecture, very important. When you want to do anything in IT, you have to understand your business. What is my business all about? What are the products and services I'm selling to my customers? What are my business capabilities? You have to understand your business, how your business operates, before you design your IT. After BA, you can see from the whole TOGAF, right? Data architecture is important. Application architecture is important. AADA support your BA. Technology architecture or infrastructure architecture, as some of you may call it, is to support your data, your AA. Between data and AA, there's also relationship, right? So these are like the main architectures in TOGAF, okay? I know I got 5 minutes. And if you look at the TOGAF ADM, even before security shift left, in TOGAF version 8, it's already shift left already. Now we are on TOGAF version 10. We went through 9, 9.1, 9.2. So all this, right, knowing all this, shift left, when you do business architecture, what are some of the security considerations for your business? When you do data architecture, you have to consider data security. Likewise for application security and your technology security. So all this must be secure. Security is not an afterthought. Security architecture. This is not solution architecture, it's security architecture. Security is not an afterthought. So in version 8 of TOGAF, it's already shift left already, even before the word shift left. Okay, now we are on version 10. So I think that's all I have time for you. So just some key takeaways. EA will keep your AI initiatives strategically aligned. We do what is important to the business value, business outcomes. Data architecture will ensure that you have quality data. If you implement your data architecture, you have all the traceability. And then scalable and centralized deployment to support your AI, manage the risks. And then, of course, you need to equip your people with the AI knowledge and skill sets. Okay, so we have this 7 days EA class. One of the attendees is doing Hai Xiang, correct, day 4. And then we also have this MDA, which I have 2 students here. They are the MDL01. Yeah, MDL01, right? Yeah, yes. To learn more about architecture. You want to go into AI expert, ISS, NUS-ISS have other AI courses conducted by my colleagues.